Hi, everybody. It's Stacy Sobel with Salon Today Conversations. And today I'm with Marc Levitan from Shortcut. It's a new technology we're excited to talk about. And Scott Buchanan from Scott J Salons. How are you both?
I'm great, Stacy. Great to be
So,
here.
Marc, this is a really new technology. You refer to it as a DoorDash-style solution for helping salons offer in-home hair services. Kind of explain what it is.
Yeah, so Shortcut is a revolutionary technology that had been on the market since 2016, and just recently, in the last 6 months, we rolled out a version of our technology to really meet the needs of salon owners and connect salons to the ability to find new talent, find new customers, as well as retain their clients. I mean their staff, and get out there and get orders in a mobile capacity.
So this is for people who maybe are not comfortable yet coming back to the salon from the pandemic, or just for whatever reason would rather have their services at home in the privacy of their home.
Yeah,
or I would think also special events like a wedding.
Yeah, and so Shortcut's technology initially in the early days was very vibrant on events, and then the pandemic hit, and we had to shift gears a little bit, but certainly getting out there and getting mobile orders now is more than just meeting the needs of a pandemic. It's absolutely a convenience thing. So I think initially, as a salon owner as well, it was to really address the pandemic concerns. But as I see it now, it's far more bigger than that. It's about consumer convenience. It's about staff. It's about meeting the needs of not only the modern consumer, but the modern employee who's looking for flexibility in their schedule from a traditional in the salon 40 hours. We just don't see that at the level we once did.
Now, Marc, you own salons in Bucks County, and then Scott, you have them in New York. Talk about, that's kind of different markets. Talk about how it works with your clients and who is taking advantage of that right now.
Do you want me to go first in
Sure.
Manhattan? Well, when Marc first approached me, like he said, it was very much about the COVID client that didn't want to leave the house. And we're seeing now, customers are very accustomed to having in-home and that DoorDash app kind of shopping. So for me, we're starting to get a lot of new customers that are new to the brand, as well as some of our existing customers that are happy that they don't have to leave their home and they can get the Scott J experience in their home. And we see all kinds of people, from working mothers to older guests that are just not wanting to go out and come into a salon full of a few people. And the team has really embraced the whole thing. And to me, the platform of Shortcuts is the magic of Shortcuts, because it is so integrated and so user-friendly, both from the consumer and for my team, that they caught on quicker than I did, actually, when we were going on an onboarding. I was more confused than them. And it's just an amazing platform that's expanded my business. So it's given me a whole new business within my business and flexibility for my team. And Shortcuts app itself takes care of so many of the things that we do in the salon that we take care of, the app takes care of. So it's really seamless and very easy for everybody. And I'm seeing that, we just had a client last week that was on the app, and then she wanted to come in just because she didn't want to do the hair color at home. She said, all right, I'll come into the salon for the hair color, but I like getting my hair cut at home. So now I just got a hair color client. So it becomes that seamless soiree dance, which I so love.
Marc, what are you seeing in Pennsylvania? Who's taking advantage of this client-wise?
Yeah, I think we've seen a real mix. I mean, certainly, in the piggyback on what Scott was saying, that what we've been able to do is really expand our geographic radius, and we're hitting clients sometimes beyond 30 miles from our brick and mortar. And that's just, it's a wonderful thing. It really creates a real diverse network of clients. And like Scott said, some will come in for certain services. Some will prefer certain services at their home. Initially, like I said, it was really much pandemic driven, but in the last, few months for sure, it has really become a convenience thing. And we see this just real shift in that having the ability and the flexibility to choose, I'll just do my blowouts on a Friday night. We just got that. 3 women want to do their blowouts on a Friday night, make a little party out of it. We'll go to their house and do 3 blowouts on a Friday night. So it's really been, it's just great, and it's seamless, right? As Scott was saying, it's real. What we like as salon owners is we don't have to put all that heavy lifting into it. The lifting is gone. It's a really smooth transition with our virtual consultations, and then the automation of it and the ability to create marketing out of it within seconds is just, it's so innovative and cutting edge. It's really allowed us to become a dynamic business in a time where I think a lot of salon owners are thinking it's really hard to be dynamic right now. And I see a complete difference.
Stacy, can I just
Yeah,
add one thing?
absolutely.
I have a stylist that, most of my stylists are still working just 3 days a week, in the salon. And she's a mother of 2 kids, and she lives in northern New Jersey. And she has taken on and built a whole nother business and our brand out in northern New Jersey for her.
Where you don't have a salon.
Where I don't have a salon, but the brand Scott J is now all over there. You know what I mean? And because she's from a Manhattan salon, that gives her some credibility in northern New Jersey. And I mean, she is doing amazing. I mean, I think she's done almost close to 100 people since December when we started. So, it's like, it's given me a whole new business model and a whole new exposure that and it's convenient for her because she does it on her days off. She schedules it around her kids taking care of them. And she loves it. And it really works for the guests out there. I'm amazed at how busy she's gotten.
It's really interesting real quick. Sorry to just piggyback.
Go ahead.
Where Scott is a metro city Manhattan salon group, and now he's going out into the suburbs. I'm doing the opposite. So I'm a suburban, even in some cases rural, and we're going into Philly and we're doing tons of services. So it's been just a real switch of how we're building our brands. Because we never would have been considered in Philadelphia ever in a million years in our traditional way. And now the Essentials brand is getting into Philadelphia, which is exciting.
That's amazing. So who are your stylists that really take this on and are excited about it? Are there some that want to do it and some that don't? And what's kind of the characteristic of the person who loves this?
It's a great question. And, when I was considering bringing Shortcut on, I had in my mind who I thought would do this. But what I decided to do was put it out to my entire team. And it was shocking who actually jumped on it. So different than what I thought. And so that was really exciting. And I have a real balance. I have the senior people that are so busy in the salon that are using this just to enhance and build even a bigger following and take a day, 2 days out of the salon. And then I have my newer stylists as well that really got impacted by the pandemic because we were shut down for 3.5, 4 months and lost that base of business that they had built prior to. And this gave them a tremendous opportunity to gain instant revenue when we first came back and opened our doors. And that has been, most of the people that are on my Shortcut platform as well as in the salon are making equal to, if not more money than they did pre-COVID. Wow,
that's amazing. So how does it work for a client that is maybe new for a stylist? Do you do the consultation in advance? How do you prepare what you're going to take and know what kind of service you're going to do? And
well, the beauty is everything goes through a chat communication and they schedule through chat. So that is a virtual consultation where once they start to engage what kind of services they want, we will upload pictures. We will request pictures, not only pictures of them, but any inspiration pictures they have, something they've seen online that's trending and something hot on Instagram. But yeah, and then from that, they just have a real great consultation, conversation, and then they establish what's going to be done. They book the appointment right in the chat, send the ticket, and it's done.
That's great.
It's very interesting. The chat is probably the highlight of shortcuts and the real crux for and the comfortability for everybody, because it, you know, a hairdresser that knows how to communicate, because I can see, you know, they have a dashboard that we can, as an owner, I can see all of the chats going on at any time, you know, I mean, if I choose to go in there. It's not like it's bombarding me. And, you know, I can see that the hairdressers that keep the conversations going. So when a client calls and says, I'd love a haircut on Tuesday night at 6, you know, if they're not free, if they just say, I can't do it, it drops. But if they say, I'm sorry, I'm busy then, but I can do Wednesday or Thursday. And then how they keep the conversation going. Would you like a treatment? And what do you wear on, you know, so it's kind of like the same consultation they do behind the chair, they do it in this chat. And it has been amazing to watch because the tickets are always added. So, you know, the difference for Manhattan is, you know, my haircut price includes a blow dry. On Shortcuts, there's a price for a haircut, there's a price for a haircut with a blow dry. And, you know, they can get the haircut price of $80, but their tickets are always $150 and more. Sometimes we have $400 tickets because through the chat, they add on so many things. Well, you know what? I'll bring you a botanical treatment just in case.
Right.
You know, I'll bring you that. So, and then they have it, and then they end up falling in love with the hairdresser because of the communication and the luxury and the convenience of being in their house, and they usually get everything. So the building of the ticket is all done through the chat, and I think it's going to help us with our virtual consultations in-house, actually.
Well, I would think as an owner, it's also really nice to kind of have that background. If something goes wrong with the client's service and they're not happy, you can go back and see what it was that they asked for, and you have some evidence to say, this is what you said you wanted, or so.
Absolutely.
All the evidence. And to just add on what Scott was just finishing with, I couldn't agree anymore that I won't speak for owners around the country, but for me, you know, I don't know all those ins and outs of those conversations happening in the salon. You know, I trust that our systems and our training, that they're doing really thorough and great consultations. But having that chat component and seeing the full dialogue is helping me train better in the salon as well. Because if I see things that maybe are a little bit of a red flag through the text, then I know it's probably that same red flag is happening in the salon. And so training and just staying on top of it has just been, you know, amazing. And we're just seeing such growth. And now my communications are just awesome. They're just great. Love it. And we get to monitor all that. As an owner, they get to monitor every conversation. If you choose, it can be a lot, but we get to monitor every conversation, which is really nice.
I read, and I was really intrigued by the fact that 60% of the home appointments are group appointments. So like families getting all the kids' haircut at once, or mom and dad, or
yeah. I would argue for me that's probably even higher. I very rarely see an appointment where it's just a one-off. We're just going in and doing a simple. Now, we might be just doing one person, but it's always multiple services.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And if we're not doing multiple people, it's very rare that we're just literally going for a haircut. We're mostly going to do the entire family, or multiple people, or neighbors, or now as we move in, as you said earlier, how this could be great for events. You know, we've booked 3 weddings in the last 4 weeks through our Shortcut platform. We just booked, like I said, a Friday night with 3 women to do blowouts as they get ready for something. So
and I think there's probably a backlog of weddings out there. A lot of people that did not get married during the pandemic, and now it's going to be a big boom when it opens back up.
Yeah, we just had to turn down a bachelor event where it was 12 guys that were wedding party, not a bachelor event, but a wedding, the wedding party of 12 guys, because we didn't have enough barbers. like that could do the barber
Wow.
cuts, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? Because it was 12 of them, and they wanted beards and they wanted haircuts, and because people want that luxury now, they want that, the guys too. It's an interesting phenomenon that's going on, and I don't think it's going to change as the world opens up. I think it's going to get bigger, and the world's going to get bigger, and we're going to be able to have like I said, a whole separate business model to have with.
Well, it's like a lot of things with the pandemic. I think it's changed the way that we do things, and some of those things are going to be the way we do things moving forward.
Exactly.
So, how does a stylist prepare? Because obviously, a client doesn't have a shampoo sink in their house. They don't have probably a styling chair. Like, do they
Well,
have to
that's
be
where
flexible in that? Is it complicated?
well, that's where the chat is so important to me, because that's where we got into so much trouble in the beginning. Because, the girl from Melissa from New Jersey, she could tell you stories, you know what I mean, of getting around the bathtub and the toilet bowl and and then she learned how to chat better to say, do you have a space that I can have a chair that has, I can get around. So, the Shortcuts comes with a tarp that we put down, so it's a 6-foot tarp, so it's easy to clean up the hair. They ask them for a chair that they like. If I was doing it, I would ask for a bar stool because I would want it higher.
Yeah.
And so they ask the client, and they talk about, will you have your hair wet when I get there? Because I can wet it down with a water bottle. And and then if they're doing color, they talk about how they're going to do that. Are they, one of my stylists has a whole neck thing she bought on Amazon that goes back in the kitchen sink, and she uses it and she loves it. Another stylist, has them go in the shower, and they wait outside and wait for them to do the shower thing. So, they all decide what's comfortable for them. And that's what also I love about this, and what my team loved about it, was that it's the umbrella on how you do it is very wide. So when people came in and I first put it out, like you asked, I did it the Marc way because he was the one that onboarded me. So, I thought it was going to be certain people, and I let it out to everybody, and I got my select few, which was no one I thought of. And, now I said to them, if you're not ready to do color right now, then just do haircuts and blow dries. And then some people just do that, and some people do haircuts, blow dries, and color. And I don't put any pressure on them, because it's about a win-win for everybody. I want you to be happy and do. So the chat is the real way that they get all the things they need. Is there an electrical outlet nearby? I need to have something 6 feet away. So they really do that in the chat. And I think, Marc, that there's actually something in the app that the guest sees that what they need to do or something. Or no, is that just in my head?
I'm not sure. No.
Okay.
I'm not
Maybe
sure.
that's just in my head, Stacy. You know what I mean? Like I plan things and think that things are there that aren't. So that could be one of them.
Created ways where we can script and just cut and paste certain key things that to make sure they have, so they're prepared. Or when we get those standard questions that we always get, we have good, quick responses for them. So we've definitely done that. But I think the biggest thing to add to this portion of it is, as a salon, we were more worried about what it would look like in the home than the guests. They created new behaviors and habits when we were closed for 3.5 months. So for them to do a box color, or to wash their hair under a sink, or to be a little bit, or ask their husband to cut their hair because they just needed something done because we were closed for almost 4 months, that behavior was created. So us going in there, it's never an issue. They're never writing that I see where it's like, oh my God, how are you going to do my color in my house? It's just not. They're just like, please do my color in my house. I got it under control. I'll put my head under a sink. I've done it before. I'll run to the shower, like Scott said. They don't care. And so when we saw that happening, it just relieved some of the stress and the pressures. They're like, oh my God, this is not a big deal. They fully get we're not in a salon, and they're okay with it.
Right.
So it's been seamless.
And they gain a lot of other things. They don't have to worry about driving to the salon and parking. And if their stylist is late, they're not sitting there waiting. So they gain a lot out of it. So what happens for the payment part? Do you have the credit card on file? How does it get charged at the end of the service?
Yeah, so they have to put their credit card information immediately once the ticket is sent to confirm the appointment. And Shortcut does a verification just to make sure they have the funds. And then they verify again, like, I think it's like 48 hours prior to. And then once the service completes, payment goes through. And then it hits the salon's bank account pretty quickly.
So I know as an owner, I would be concerned about my staff traveling out there. How is that covered liability wise?
So insurance is covered through the salon because they're employees of the salon. Shortcut does provide a solution for salons that maybe don't think they have this coverage, but we tell all salons you might have it, especially if you're doing events already, if you've done fashion shows or potentially have a robust wedding group or whatever. So you probably have it, but if you don't, we do have a solution for salons that's seamless, but they can certainly use their own insurance if they choose to as well.
Which is great because it's fully covered usually in what you have. And the other thing that I do, because like Marc has all his people in cars traveling, I only have 2 people that live outside or doing it in their hometowns out in Long Island and one in New Jersey. So what I've required from them is just the top piece of their insurance, their declaration page. And I keep that on file so that I know that they're covered, and then my insurance is the secondary coverage to that for their driving pieces. But I think it's fantastic now that Shortcuts has partnered and got the supplemental insurance if you want it, or another avenue versus your own. But for me, my insurance guy, I went every which way and called him 500 times to make sure I was covered on everything that could possibly go on. And he was like, every time I call, he's like, Scott, yes, you are completely covered for that. Scott, yes, you are. So I was like, okay, I give up now. I really made sure, because it was, it's a concern. But I did do hair shows. I do send interns from one salon to the other in a taxi cab. I do those things, and that's all covered anyway. So.
Good to know. Well, great to learn about this technology. Thank you both so much for sharing your experiences with it. And we're excited to see it roll out across the country. So
Thank you.
bye, guys.
Bye.